about painting and facilities maintenance. If you work in facilities maintenance, at some point you're going to have to repaint an office, paint a piece of equipment, etc. We're not going to cover every type of paint, every painting technique. This video is just going to cover some of the basics, from PPE to different types of paints and paint applications. So first off, PPE is important, especially if you're spray painting, whether it be a spray can or a spray gun that you hook up to a air hose. Paints contain solvents, usually the hydrocarbon toluene. That evaporates quickly at room temperature. So two things happen as the solvent evaporates: the paint dries and chemical vapors are released into the surrounding atmosphere. In addition to solvents, spray paints, like a spray can, contain aerosols, like a propellant, which also releases harmful chemicals. So whether you're spray painting, especially if you're spray painting, you want to wear a respirator, some gloves to protect your skin, safety glasses or painting goggles. You can even put on a Tyvek suit, which works great if you're doing overhead painting, you're worried about painting dripping on you or spraying on your uniform. They also make booties for your shoes. You can cover your shoes. Another point, the key to a great paint job, say you're repainting an office, is your prep work. So go through and patch all your holes in the walls. You might even need to clean or scrub the walls down. Mask off what needs to be masked off. You can even remove the switch plate covers. Put down something to protect the carpet or the floor so you don't drip paint on the carpet or the floor. And paint needs to be stored properly. Check with your local jurisdiction that has authority in your area. But generally, paints need to be stored, or flammable chemicals, for that matter, in a flammable cabinet like this one that meet or exceed the NFPA Flammable Liquid Code number 30 or the OSHA standard 1910.106 for storage of class 1, 2, and 3 liquids. And they have to be lockable. They have to have a vent. So when you spray paint something, whether you're spray painting a vehicle, a forklift, a piece of equipment, you really want to do that inside a paint booth. So on the left here we have a benchtop style paint booth. On the right you have a walk-in paint booth. So they come in all different shapes and sizes. These are great for smaller painting projects. But something they all pretty much have in common is they'll have an exhaust fan that pulls air through the filters. Those squares that you see are filters. Those can be replaced. They do need to be replaced on a regular basis. And there's different types of filters. So that's something you'll need to research based on, again, the authority having jurisdiction in your area, what they require. Paint booths, especially walk-in paint booths, drive-in paint booths, need to have sealed light fixtures. So the paint fumes can't get up into the light fixture. And then they also need a fire suppression system. And here's basically what a fire suppression system looks like and the major components. Usually they consist of fusible links, some cylinders, and different size cylinders will depend on the size of your spray booth. There'll be an alarm bell. There'll be detectors. There'll be, of course, the supply lines that go to the heads, the spray heads, and then whatever agent they use inside the cylinders, the fire suppression agent. And then these systems have to be inspected annually by a local third-party company. And then every paint product you use, or really every chemical you use in facilities maintenance for that matter, you need to have an MSDS on file, or now they're called SDSs. So either a digital library or a 3-ring binder with paper hard copies. and that needs to be available to an employee if they wish to see it at any time. I won't bore you with every single page and every single section, but basically it lists, the product name, the product code, the product type, who manufactured the product, contact information, and then hazardous identification information. So for example, this is a black gloss spray paint. You can see the hazard pictograms that are applicable to this black gloss spray paint. It's a flammable aerosol. It contains gas under pressure, may explode if it's exposed to heat. It's obviously fatal if this chemical is swallowed. It can irritate your skin, irritate your eyes, irritate your respiratory system. Again, that's where you want to wear your PPE. Always know what chemicals you're dealing with. Read the SDS. Proper storage and disposal. And then here you can see some of the breakdown of the chemicals in that spray paint. So again, you don't want to be breathing these into your lungs. And it gives you first aid measures. And there's many other sections after this containing, toxicological information, etc. I didn't want to go through every section and take up too much of your time. But you can see the hazardous material information system here, at least used in the United States. Health number of 3, flammability of 4, physical hazard 3. Now different types of painting equipment. Whether you're applying paint with a roller, a paintbrush, a spray gun, a spray can, different types of paint are applied best with different application processes. So you want to kind of research that ahead of time. Same with stains, like if you're using a wood stain, you want to use the correct type of brush to apply it. And depending on what kind of finish, for example, if you're painting a wall in a building and it has a knockdown texture on the drywall, or an eggshell, or a real rough, aggressive texture, you're going to want to use a brush or a roller or a sprayer that's appropriate for that application. And when you're done using a spray gun, like you see in the center of the screen, you want to clean that out after every use. Take it apart, clean it out. Also, when it comes to paint trays, like you see on the far left, they offer paint tray covers, so you don't get your paint tray dirty. You just replace the cover every time you use your paint tray. And there's different types of paint, and what I mean by that is they offer different finishes. So we're looking here. Obviously, this is an eggshell for interior painting. You don't want to use interior paint on the exterior of your building. You want to use this type of paint to paint a vehicle or a forklift, for example. That would be automotive paint. You wouldn't really want to be using automotive paint to paint the walls in your office, for example. So know what type of paint is needed for what application you're using it for. And again, for building paint, house paint, interior paint, there's eggshell, there's gloss, semi-gloss, flat, satin, etc. I hope this video helped. Please like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, and leave me a comment for future video topics you would like me to cover.